Broadside Books and Harper Audio present Capitalist Punishment: How Wall Street is Using Your Money to Create a Country You Didn't Vote For, by Vivek Ramaswamy. Read by Timothy Andrés Pabon. To my two sons, Karthik and Arjun, and to their generation, may they live with purpose and liberty. Courage is contagious. Introduction. Do you want your retirement funds to be used to force U.S. tech companies to adopt racial hiring quotas, or to force U.S. energy companies to produce less oil to fight climate change? And are you okay with sacrificing investment returns to pursue these objectives? If your answer is yes, save your money and don't buy this book. But if your answer is hell no, don't listen to this book at bedtime. What you are about to discover is the largest financial scam in modern history. You're probably among its victims, though you probably don't know it yet. You might recall the spectacular rise and fall of Sam Bankman-Fried, popularly known as SBF. The 30-year-old rapidly built FTX, his Bahamas-based cryptocurrency exchange, into one of the largest financial empires in the world. His net worth in early 2022 exceeded $20 billion. The young man was described as the John Pierpont Morgan of our time, America's next Warren Buffett. His was also the leading voice in Washington, D.C., for the so-called responsible regulation of the cryptocurrency sector. He donated tens of millions of dollars to Democratic candidates in 2022, while pledging over $1 billion in years to come. Perhaps owing to these acts, a prominent ESG, environmental, social, and governance ratings firm, assigned a higher leadership and governance score to FTX than it did to ExxonMobil. Months later, FTX declared bankruptcy after more than $8 billion in customer funds went missing, after it came to light that SBF had siphoned those funds away to another hedge fund that he separately owned. He's not one of us, Wall Street insiders would have you believe. SBF was the weird kid who wore shorts and slept on beanbags. His headquarters were in the Bahamas, not on Park Avenue. His high ESG score was just an unfortunate coincidence, they'll say. But here's the dirty little secret. SBF wasn't an exception to the rule, but an embodiment of it. SBF is probably going to prison, but the most elite practitioners of the game won't. Take my 2006 summer internship employer Goldman Sachs. It was one of many Wall Street firms that sold complex mortgage-backed securities to investors that turned out to be worthless. One trader who worked there back when I did was a 28-year-old by the name of Fabrice Tor, who liked to refer to himself as Fabulous Fab. His emails revealed what many suspected at that time, that Goldman's bankers knew they were selling worthless securities, but continued to do it anyway. He boasted in June 2007 about selling abacus bonds to widow and orphans. He quipped, "More and more leverage in the system. The whole building is about to collapse any time now. Only potential survivor, the Fabulous Fab, standing in the middle of all these complex, highly leveraged, exotic trades he created, without necessarily understanding all of the implications of those monstrosities." Well, the house did collapse, and it triggered the largest recession since the Great Depression. The stock market lost trillions of dollars in value, wiping out the savings of millions of Americans. The ensuing financial crisis cost the less genteel Wall Street firms such as Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers their very existence. That would have almost certainly been Goldman's fate, too, except for a notable non-coincidence. Goldman's most recent CEO, Henry "Hank" Paulson, was the U.S. Treasury Secretary at the time. Paulson had recently pocketed nearly $500 million from selling his Goldman Sachs shares prior to the crash, and avoided payment of capital gains taxes because he was U.S. Treasury Secretary. Yes, that's legal if you're a senior government official. His position was what enabled him to use taxpayer money to bail out Goldman Sachs, too. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?